Hi, so my name's Hyacinth and I have been a part of Hillsong Oslo since May 2017, the day that the church actually changed from intro to Hillsong. In fact, I've been on team ever since I started in church. That's because I've just got to serve. In May 2017, I moved back to Oslo. I had previously lived here, moved here in 1997 and lived here for 6 years. I'd been married, but unfortunately ended up being divorced, and in 2017 my ex-husband was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, stage 4, and so Lord led me back here to look after him. Oslo was a place that I never really thought I'd move back to, purely because this is a place that I feel broke me in so many ways. When I left here, I was lost, I was lonely, I felt abandoned by the people who were really supposed to love me, and I was suffering postpartum depression. I didn't even know I'd had postpartum depression. That's after having a child, and you can go through a type of depression. There was so much happening, and I just really never ever thought I'd move back to Oslo. So when God asked me to move back here, my question was why? But I did anyway, and you know, during my time away from Oslo, I'd been through a lot of healing. That's when I accepted Christ, that's when I gave my life to the Lord, that's when I found out how much He loved me, that's when I experienced joy, that's when I really just went through a life transformation, and I was really reconciled to Christ, because I'd been baptized when I was 13, but so much had happened in my life that I just ran away from God. So when I moved back here, there was a process that I was about to go through that I had no clue about, which was where God was going to take me through a process of healing for stuff that I had no clue that I needed healing for. When I left Oslo in 2003, after my divorce, my ex-husband, we got divorced basically because he was gay. He didn't really want to come out of the closet, not to his family, because he just didn't know how his family would accept his story. So it was easier to throw me under the bus, so to speak. So he told them that I had abandoned him, but the truth is he chose me to be the mother of his child. He wanted a particular looking child, and he chose me to be the mother of his kid. And unfortunately it ended in divorce, which really crushed me, because at the time of walking down the aisle, I remember asking myself the question, is this what you really want to do? And I remember at that time saying, God, as I walk down here and say yes, I'm saying yes for the rest of my life. So when I got divorced, it broke me. It broke me in ways that I didn't know that I was broken. When I came back to look after my ex-husband, I came and I just, at this point, you know, after learning all about Jesus and about His love, I came and served my ex-husband. I served him like I was serving God. Because, you know, if Jesus asked me to do this, then I was going to give it everything I had. That meant I was at his home every single day. In the end, I was by his bedside day and night. And what I didn't know at the time was his family. They'd been carrying a lot of hurt, a lot of anger, and maybe even hatred. I'd go as far as to use that word, towards me, because of some of the stories that they'd previously heard about me. But when they saw how I was looking after my ex-husband, they kind of came together themselves and decided that the stories couldn't be true. Because, you know, how could this person who's given up her life, who's moved away from her home, from her family, to come and look after their son and their brother, be all of what they'd heard? And there's a verse in the Bible that says, you know, God fights your battles, and here he was fighting a battle for me that I didn't even know that I needed fighting. So what happened was, one day when we were at the hospital, he was right there at the end. His sister came to me and she was in floods of tears, and she literally just crumpled in front of me. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, for years, we just had a lot of anger towards you, but that's because we believe the stories that we'd heard about you, and you know, now as a family, we've talked about it, and we know that it can't be true. And we just want to say we're sorry. And, you know, one by one, the family, they came to me and they apologized. And I remember just having a moment with God thinking, wow, I didn't know that I needed healing from this, but thank you because you fought this battle for me. And I think the best thing was as well, my daughter, you know, she was 17 at the time. She'd been through a lot. I was having to watch my daughter watch her dad slowly die. I was having to watch him try and fight to live for her, even though he knew he couldn't win the battle. And, you know, she had a lot of residual questions, queries as to, you know, our relationship. See, when I left Norway, I actually left her with her father. Not because I wanted to, it's just that I found a job in London. I was working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, and I didn't think it was conducive to having a 3-year-old child. And so I left her with her grandparents and her father, where she was in a beautiful home, beautiful country. And when she was 11, she came back to me in the UK. But, you know, over the years, she felt like I'd abandoned her. But in this season of coming back to Oslo, and the most beautiful thing that's happened out of all of this is my daughter and myself, we've been reconciled. You know, our relationship now is flourishing. In fact, I talk to her pretty much every day. They can vouch for that at work. And she calls me and we have these crazy conversations. But just to hear my daughter call me every day and be like, oh, Mom, I really love you, that is priceless. And, you know, we really do serve a God of reconciliation. And I'm just so thankful that He's fought my battle for me, even when I didn't even know that it was a battle that needed fighting. I am living proof that you can mess up in your life, that you can make mistakes, that you can be so broken that you feel like there's no way to be fixed. But God fights our battles and He's a reconciler, and He really does love us that much that He does work all things together for our good.